Welcome everyone to the fourth episode of Patriots Palace. This is your host Mike Ambrose, and let's get it on. Starting the show tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern. Patriots will be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in London at famed Wesley Stadium, and it's a big game for both Drake Maye and Jerod Mayo. I think the Patriots should win. Drake Maye should have a great game, following up on last week. We had some buzz with his really good game. Even though they lost 41-21, he threw for 3 touchdowns and stuff. So a lot of promise. I think tomorrow they're playing a bad team in the Jaguars. Same record, 1-5. They have the opportunity to win a game tomorrow and go in the right direction. And Jerod Mayo is coach, needs another win under his belt. Like I said, I wasn't expecting him to get to the playoffs his first year, but he needs to win some games here to gain some credibility as a coach. And Drake Maye, is a quarterback too going forward. I'm not saying he's going to be like Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, those guys. But, he's got to show something. He showed something the first game. They lost, but they're playing a really good team, Houston. Houston, Texans, we're going to beat them anyway, so they should beat the Jaguars. Yeah, Maye's got some buzz right now, and, throw some weapons. He's got some guys he can throw to like did last week. If the offensive line gets in order enough, tries to play well, he should win. And the defense will do its gig. Defense is good. Although it can be good. Chris Gonzalez is the best player by far, but they need some work. But like I said, they play Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not that good. Speaking of Jacksonville, I want to talk about them for 1 second. Specifically that ownership, the Khan family. I cannot get into Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sorry. And Tony Khan is just I'm just not a big fan of Tony Khan. I'll be honest. He's just goofy. He's a sunny boy. He's his daddy's boy who inherits everything and, runs his own wrestling. He's an analytic guy and, obviously he's got his wrestling company. I've gone on and on about AEW and you've heard enough. I've heard enough from it. He might fire the coach this week. Doug Peterson's on thin ice down there. The Jaguars have been a joke. I remember when I was 12 years ago watching football on other teams. And when Jacksonville first got their team, the first year they didn't do well. Second year they made the AFC Championship game against the Patriots and lost. Actually, and then 3 years later after that, they went to an AFC Championship game, another one, and lost to Tennessee. Because they were 14-2, but every game they lost was against Tennessee Titans. They had their number that year. So those 4 years, and they made the playoffs from 96, 97, 99. Four times in their first 5 years, they make the playoffs. Looked like they were going to be a force. They had Tom Coughlin, there's a good coach. It looked like Jacksonville was on the right track. But, they had some great players, great teams then. But then they fell back a bit, and now, they fell back. They've been an irrelevant franchise, I think, for the most part, This rumors Bill Belichick would go there, but why go to Jacksonville? There's no buzz down there. Got an owner who's just a rich guy, not one of his properties. He funds his son's wrestling company. Like I said before, you play that, you go where the money is, of course, but nobody really, really, truly wants to play in Jacksonville. They want to be in a market where people are going to care all year long. It's like that with wrestling. The wrestling AEW, a lot of them want to go to WWE eventually. I'll play them. I'll tell you, but it's like I think I'll get off on its thing here, but there are wrestlers there like Mariah May, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, hoping up in WWE one day. But that's a show for another time. Well, one thing, I think Mac Jones could step in right now. I think Mac Jones, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't do well, because Trevor Lawrence hasn't been doing that well lately. He should do well. He was good calls. He made the playoffs, I think. Won a playoff game, but then, he's won a playoff game the last couple of years, but lately he hasn't been doing anything. And Mac Jones, obviously, the former first-round pick of the Patriots 3 years ago. Like I say, he made the playoffs here his first year, but then those last 2 years just went downhill straight. Belichick was on his way out. And I can't see Belichick read out with Mac Jones in Jacksonville. There's more of a chance of Belichick coaching the Las Vegas Raiders with Tom Brady, the minority owner, than Belichick coaching the Jaguars. I don't buy into that. But yeah, Mac Jones could come in, and maybe he does, and they do something there. But I don't know. And I just don't see it come out the Jaguars at all. I don't think a lot of people do. I think the Patriots should win this game. I'm not going to make a prediction on the score, but I think the Patriots should win in London. It's a good time for me to watch the game. 9:30 in the morning, get to have breakfast, then watch the game, and then the rest of the day you're free. Pretty cool. I like those games, those 9 o'clock. When it's teams I like a team like the Patriots, honestly, it makes it all the worthwhile to get up early in the morning on a Sunday and watch football. So that's that. That's my rant. Then after that, they got Tennessee, the Patriots. We'll see that, but one game at a time. You know, they got a lot of games coming up. I just don't want to see them end the year 1-16, because then you're like really sucking. And I've heard on the radio the people talk about how you know it's not good for your team, which it isn't. Not good to be left. It's not good to have that mentality. I mean, think about it. The Patriots for like a 20-year span were like royalty, winning Super Bowls, making AFC Championship games, all that. And then it crumbles like this. Oh, that's a fall. Even the 49ers didn't fall off like that. Even the Cowboys in the 90s when they won their 3. I mean, they still made the point together. They were like a middling team. They fell off a bit, and granted, they haven't done well lately, but they're still in the mix. Pittsburgh, even Pittsburgh, didn't, even go back to 7 when they were in the 80s, they still made the playoffs on occasion. They didn't get to level they were the 70s, but then they came back the 90s. They're consistently in it. Packers are, last 37 years, are consistently in it. Philadelphia is always in it. I mean, I like to see the Patriots be like those two, just be back in it. Just stay in it. Even if they don't win a playoff game, at least get in the playoffs and have a chance. And maybe eventually win some. San Francisco's obviously back in. They had their downfall, actually, to San Francisco. But they're back in the mix, It's just certain mark teams, they're in, they're out. It's not good to have a loser mentality, though. That's the worst thing. I've seen it happen with teams. They get stuck in that rut of never winning a playoff game, or they head downhill. See it in other sports, too, where they just suck and suck and suck, like the Jets. Jets kept sucking, and they still suck. All right, well, that's my show for tonight. I'll do a show tomorrow after the game with the results and stuff. Hopefully that, like I said, Patriots do well. I mean, it's the offensive line that needs to help the most. They need a good offensive line. Next year in the draft, where they're in it, they got to draft an offensive left guard. A good, strong left guard in the draft. And because if you're building around Drake Maye, you're going to start with that. Let's hope they win some games before the draft next year. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Have a good night. Take care. I'll be talking with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.